Hello everyone, this is Ponderosa North for the love of Bonanza. Today I'm going to focus on Cartwright comedy. I don't know of any show, or at least I can't think of any show, especially an hour-long Western, that could so easily and effortlessly toggle back and forth from tragedy to comedy like Bonanza did. I'm not sure if this was an intent, because the first season is fairly stoic. It's fairly, this is our land and you better stay off our land or I'll shoot you kind of thing. There was camaraderie between the brothers. Often, though, there was a lot of tension, especially between Joe and Adam. They were pitted against each other from the start, from the pilot they were. And Haas is the Switzerland. He's in the middle, always trying to make peace. Ben was sort of, yeah, boys will be boys kind of thing. Often he'd break them up, but so it wasn't until maybe the second season, third season, where they sort of found this sort of niche where little Joe and Haas would get into these escapades. I guess they found the camaraderie between Dan and Mike was so good, and the chemistry was so good, and the character of little Joe was so charming and so able to get people to trust him with that smile, and he was on the small side, so why wouldn't you trust him? He's just a nice guy. But he would get his brother to believe and do these things that any adult would never do. I mean, it was so funny. And they fell into this, and I don't know of any, like I said, any show, excuse me, that could toggle back and forth. One week they'd be bringing home an elephant, and the next week they'd be, shot and in the desert and trying, scrambling their way home, it was a life or death situation. And then the next week after that, the boys would be sort of sparring over who would get the attention of a girl. And then the next week, Haas would have his heart absolutely crushed by, some woman that it was just this, you never knew what you were going to get. You just never knew. And I think the only show that might have come close, because they have that brother dynamic, was The Big Valley. Yes, they had sort of, they'd back and forth a little bit, with joking a little bit, but they never had the comedic episodes like Bonanza had. I'm just going to go through some of them. Of course, a lot of the funny ones written by Alex Sharp, who was a former stuntman. But he wrote some of the most comedic episodes and had the best lines, like Old Sheba. And Ben said, "I can't believe I could send two boys to town to pick up the mail and they come home with an elephant." I mean, who thinks of that? Well, Alex Sharp does. Maybe Haas and little Joe can breed rabbits. Like they needed any help, and they're always trying to make money. They were all like, you're rich landowners. Why are you always trying to make money? Isn't that enough? Of course, the classic of Haas and the Leprechauns, completely charming, a huge fan favorite, Haas and the Leprechauns. But Adam had his times too. I mean, most of the time he was, his humor was sarcasm. Even his father would call him out and say, "You don't have to be so sarcastic." Well, actually, I do. His probably most famous comedic episode, well, there was two. A Night to Remember, where he sees King Arthur. Very funny. And he's in this, it's just very funny. If you haven't seen it, you have to see these. The other one is Woman of Fire. This breakfast scene with this horrible, nasty woman and him trying to sort of teach her a lesson, ends up pouring the jug of water in her lap. And look at his face. He's like, what is she going to do? That was a very funny episode. A lot of times there were episodes with children. I think this is Blessed Are They, but Joe and Haas, and they're trying to take care of these two little kids. Look at Joe's all covered with flour. Early on, there was the O'Toole story, Annie O'Toole, the ballad of it, I forget. But that was this is behind the scenes with, forget her name now, behind the scenes with she being pitted with Adam to make money, a restaurant in the mines. It's so funny, some of the lines that I always remember. It's, you know, if you could find an onion in this camp, an onion? Oh man, I guess that what they had to eat was horrible. And then there's the Walter. No, I think this is Muley Jones with the bloodhounds. But look at them look at them pulling the skin on this poor dog. And the dog doesn't even care. Look at it. So funny. Man, if you're working that hard every day, you got to have some fun. Hoss, of course, always loving these inventions that would come along. People would come to town with a steam car or something like that. But in this case, in Ponderosa, Birdman, he thinks he's going to fly. And of course, Joe just lets him have it. Look at this. It's so funny even looking at it. That was a fantastic scene. And Dan just picks him up like a rag doll and just throws him in the trough. It's so funny, that scene. The flapjack eating contest. Joe's hung over here. He'd been mugged in the middle of the night, and Hoss wakes him up with a pitcher of water. He bumps his head on the thing, and anyway, it's very funny. The flapjack eating contest. Again, Joe getting Hoss to do these things. Another one of my favorites is Calamity on the Comstock with Stephanie Powers as Calamity Jane. And Joe getting happy on the punch. This is from Ponderosa Matador. This is behind the scenes. Look at, they're having a wonderful time. I don't know if this was for the press or whatever, but this is obviously after the end of the last scene. There's often all kinds of camaraderie and you know, sort of sarcasm between the boys. Look at Hoss. He's trying to figure out. And Adam is so sophisticated. It's like, will you shut up? I'm trying to watch this play. We got to serenade Walter with a tuba. And this is where Adam's sarcasm comes out. You know, apparently Walter has to sleep in a room with a southern exposure. And that's where Adam's room is. And Adam says, well, I guess I'm man enough to sleep in a room without a southern exposure. And then the wooing of Abigail Jones, where they get Adam in trouble with a woman. And these boys, they are just killing themselves laughing. Wonderful episode. I've talked about it many times before. And this is the Burma Rarity, where, I can't remember her name. You guys can tell me. She has a crush on Ben. And Ben leads Adam around like a 3-year-old. This thing. This was from a fairly serious episode, but it starts out very funny. There's a lot of roughhousing between the boys, which siblings do. This was the toy soldier, I think I mentioned, and they're eventually getting Adam off that hot and dusty trail and into the trough. He realizes that he can't outshake Hoss, and once he's shaking hands with him. A lot of bullying for the little guy, for the youngest, which I can relate to because I'm the youngest. You're always a little kid. You'll never be an adult. And here are Adam and Hoss just breaking themselves up because little Joe's going to be sheriff of a town. And they just think that's hilarious. And they play a lot of tricks on each other. This is the shortest match wins, so they wet their fingers. And of course, Hoss loses and he has to clean up the kitchen. These little scenarios that are so sort of precious and that you can relate to in your own family. That's what I really love. And then there's little Joe relaxing at home with Walter, saying he wants this dog to relax. Couldn't be more relaxed. Feet on the furniture, that was a running joke as well. And cheating at games, that was a running joke as well. He was a scamp. He was an imp. There was no doubt about it that little Joe was an absolute imp. I can't imagine him as a child. And then behind the scenes, they seem to have a good time together. Seem to be having a good laugh there at lunchtime. And this was recording their album, but they all seem to be having a wonderful time together. So let me know your favorite Cartwright comedy. There's so many of them. The Hay Burner, of course, Springtime, quite a few that I haven't mentioned. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Ponderosa North for the love of Bonanza. Bye for now. Bye.